I know you've been looking at my Instagram like, when is she gonna do it? And I'm doing it. Masturbation, fuck yeah. Let's talk about it. So if you guys follow me on Instagram, which you totally should, you know that I am not one to shy away from conversations about masturbation, baby. I love it. Who doesn't? Why am I so passionate about this topic? Why do I care so much that everyone, especially women, is masturbating and enjoying the hell out of it? Why do I care? Why do I give a fuck? I'm a very sexual person. When I say that, I don't mean it in like a I need to be having intercourse at all hours of the day type of way. Like, I'm not sitting here like, I like sex more than you. What I mean when I say that is, over the years, I have ended up finding a lot of my self-confidence through being a very sexual person. It's me from editing. I look different. This is turning purple in a couple days. Pretend you never saw it. I feel like I didn't do a great job of explaining this here, mainly because I feel like I've talked about it so much at this point. Sometimes I start to feel like, oh my God, people have heard you talk about this 100 times, but then I forget that like, not everyone lives inside my brain and listens to every word that comes out of my mouth. Sometimes that's hard for me. Something you'll hear me talk about a lot in this video is how I'm empowered by my sexuality. And I think an important distinction to make here is when I say that, I'm not talking about physical sex. What I'm massively referring to actually has nothing to do with other people. When I'm talking about being a very sexual person, I'm talking about the way I carry myself, my general aura, energy, how I treat myself, how I portray myself to other people. I'm a pretty sexual person. That's just kind of who I am. It has nothing to do with other people, and it also doesn't mean I'm interested in you. Men have a hard time with that one. All internal, baby. Just you. That's all you need. That's actually pretty fitting given the topic of this video. Oh yeah. I'm a very like shameless person. Just think that everything is no big deal. I'm not someone that finds many things inappropriate when it comes to bodies and sex. I have no problem talking about it. And I definitely have no problems engaging in it. So when did I start masturbating? When did I start watching porn? When did I start exploring the world of my own sexuality? I was young. I don't really remember when I started actually masturbating. I do remember that Shake It by Metro Station was big at the time, which puts us at like 2008. It was like 5th, 6th grade when I started really discovering what the fuck this shit was. My bedroom was on like the far end of the house and the Wi-Fi router was on the other end. So I didn't get great Wi-Fi connection in my room. I remember being in like 5th grade on my iPod Touch, going into the bathroom on the other side of the house, connecting to boobs.com. I would go to boobs.com on my iPod Touch and then I'd go back to my room and just like sit in bed, be like, now I've got massive tits. How's about that for manifestation? I always think talking about like first masturbation stories are so funny because when I first started masturbating, I was so young that I thought you could get pregnant from masturbating. And I remember when I first discovered it, laying in bed at night being like, I have to stop, because I totally thought that I was gonna get pregnant somehow because I was that young, dude. I feel like I discovered masturbation accidentally, which is probably how a lot of people discover it, where all of a sudden they discover that it feels good and they're like, I don't know what that was. So that was my life in elementary school, middle school. I was living it up on boobs.com. I wish I could teleport back to that age where like all of your friends would sit around at a sleepover and be like, my boobs really hurted today. Probably means they're growing. Probably because they're bigger than yours. It's boobs.com and then you're humping pillows and then you discover what the fuck a shower head does. And then you just stick with your hands because that's God's gift, baby. I didn't get my first vibrator until I was in high school. Maybe it was even college. I don't really remember. It was late though. I was using the old-fashioned method for many years. It has never disappointed me. And one year for Christmas, I want to say it was either like my senior year of high school or my freshman year of college, my sister, as a joke, went to like fucking Spencer's and bought like a lipstick vibrator. This shit is not powerful, dude. I still preferred using my hand to using a vibrator like that. My friends and I have always been really open about these kinds of topics. There's like this one conversation that sticks out to me in my brain. I remember it so vividly. I remember one day hanging out with a bunch of my friends and some of them admitting that they had never masturbated before. And we were like in high school at this point, and I was shocked. I was like, oh my God, I've been masturbating since fucking Shake It by Metro Station came out and y'all never done it yet? I just assumed that it was like, oh yeah, I do it, you do it, we all do it. Hot, fuck. And it never occurred to me that somebody would not do it. I literally grew up in such a headspace that I felt so comfortable with it from the jump that I never considered that other people wouldn't have, or that other people grew up in households where they were actively shamed for thinking about people romantically, never mind sexually. Like, talking to my friends who had never masturbated, I was like, oh my God, you've gotta fucking try it. Like, I felt like I was recommending like a really great restaurant. Another conversation that really stands out to me in my memory from around that time being in high school, so I was hanging out with some of my friends that all had boyfriends at the time. And one of them asked me, how do you know if you've orgasmed? And I sat there like, if you have to ask me how you know, you've never had one. Oh my God, your boyfriend sucks. With all of that being said, there are plenty of women that do struggle to orgasm, even during masturbation, and that is also completely normal. I'm gonna link a Facebook group that I'm a part of below because I think it's a pretty great group overall, but it's also extremely helpful if you've got some very specific situation that you want advice on. It's basically just a group full of women giving sex advice, talking about vibrators. It's a group started by this company called Bellesa, which is my absolute favorite sex porn company. I'm gonna talk about them later on, so stay tuned. But it's important for you to know what feels good for you, not only because you deserve that, but because that's how you help your partner understand you better and help them be better at pleasing you. Like, this is all about communication here, and if you don't even know how to please yourself, I don't know that you get to be mad that someone else isn't pleasing you. To be fair, I mean, some people are still big idiot morons, and I can sit there and be like, the clit, and he be like, now hear me out. What if I just didn't do none of the shit you just told me to do? I feel like everyone's pretty comfortable talking about male masturbation, but female masturbation is something that people don't talk about as much. I feel like all growing up, like middle, high school, like even in like TV shows and media, you see jokes made about dudes masturbating and everyone's so horny. Guys, they just can't even help it, they're so fucking horny. And I remember watching all those things being like, okay, but like, what about me? Cause like, I'm pretty horny too. And just being so confused because like nobody really talks about female masturbation. Probably because we don't normalize it the same way we do for male masturbation. I feel like young boys are almost encouraged to masturbate, to like release something in them, and then it's unhealthy to keep it all in. Well, what about me, sister? Obviously a lot of it has to do with language, how we speak about women's bodies, both in media and in the way that a lot of people raise girls. I swear to God, if I ever have fucking kids, I'm gonna stop you right there. Women and girls just aren't taught about masturbation. They aren't given the resources. They aren't encouraged to explore their body in the same way that boys are. I guess what I'm trying to get at here is just that when analyzing something like desire, there's a lot of factors at play here, and the factors are different with men and with women. So it is hard to compare the two and be like, there's an even playing field here to start off on, because there's not. So like if you went and pulled a study that they did on how often men think about sex and how often women think about sex, or how often they masturbate, etc., you could pull a study like that, and most of them will show you that the numbers are not as stark as you think they are, but men typically do pull ahead a little bit. But this is not out of fucking nowhere. Like, men are socialized to explore that more than women ever are. The conversation is just more nuanced than just being like, oh, well, yeah, men enjoy this more, men do this more, men think about it more. They've also been given permission to do those things more. They were also encouraged to do it more. And I am just passionately opposed to the idea that men are hornier than women. I don't know, I am. I don't care. I disagree. So enter college version of myself. Me in college was unstoppable. Me now is unstoppable. God, I'm fucking incredible. I feel like first hurdle you tackle when you go to college is like masturbating while in the room with someone else. Cause you have to do it. I feel like my roommates and I freshman year, we were all pretty open about it. And what would be the best is that like we would both masturbate and not know the other person was masturbating. Then the next morning we'd wake up and be like, guess what I did last night? We were all right fucking next to each other too. And it doesn't take much, right? Like all you need is like what? Like this one little finger? You can barely even see that moving on screen. And then you get a little deeper into college and then you start maybe doing the Tinder thing. Maybe you just like, I don't know, you start get a little crazy. You know, with more experience comes even more fun in the masturbation department, because then comes the question of like, all right, so what can I do? This is gonna be a part of the video where a lot of people all of a sudden are like, you nasty whore, burn her. You can't stop me, bitch. I'm all over the internet. You know, you start hooking up with people, you start having sex, you learn a little bit more about masturbation, and then you want to practice some skills that you think you might, you know, be able to put to good use in the bedroom. Say like, you know, there's a large percentage of women that can't masturbate on penetration alone. I was determined to figure out if I was in that percentage or not. Squirting. Can you do it? How do you make that happen? Like, there is so much self-exploration that happens through masturbation and sex and sort of just exploring your body in general that I think is really, really important. I hope all of you guys are watching this understanding that I'm totally, absolutely encouraging you to do all of this shit. Self-exploration is important for a lot of reasons, but I will say that I sort of emphasize it because a lot of people will not end up having like their first times, whether it's your first time altogether or first time trying something new with someone that you have known for your whole life, and it's so like you guys just have the most incredible bond. Sometimes you're doing shit with someone you met off Tinder or some dude you met at a bar like 4 hours ago. Maybe that's the situation. If you have done some self-exploration and you've, you know, done stuff on your own, you're gonna feel a lot more comfortable experimenting and going out of your comfort zone, trying new things with new people because you trust yourself. Like, it just feels good to rely on you and to not be like, oh my God, I have no fucking idea what's going on in every single situation. Because so much of it, you can sort of, you know, play around on your own. Give yourself some experience. Make yourself a little bit more comfortable. Sort of take the idea of comfortability with nudity, sex, all of that into your own hands, which is dope. Masturbation is not shameful. It's not something that you need to hide. It's not anything you need to be fucking embarrassed about. It's hot, it feels good, and I endorse it wholeheartedly. And what other endorsement do you need? And you know what? You know who else endorses it? Lady Gaga. And that is the only opinion we need. Go listen to Dancing in Circles. It feels good to be lonely, baby. As I sort of made more intimate connections with men throughout college, I had so many conversations with them where I felt like I could take them in a masturbation competition. Like, if we both tracked how often we masturbated for an entire month, I felt like I could fucking masturbate half of them under the fucking table. Like, I don't know where this idea of like women not being as horny as men came from, but I will out horny you any day of the week.
This one out, sir.
Then intro the good vibrators. My introduction to the whole endless world of sex toys. Pretty much all of my vibrators are from Bellesa. Now, this video is not sponsored by Bellesa. I've worked with Bellesa a couple times on Instagram in the past. I just wholeheartedly support their mission, love their products, think they're fucking mint. So I have a bunch of Bellesa vibrators. Let me go grab them. Let me show you my collection, love. First vibrator that I got from Bellesa was this one. So it's called the Dia. I got the Cali. This is probably my fucking favorite, to be honest. And then I have the Aurora, which is a really good like starter vibrator. This was my third vibrator. And I do really like it because A, it's compact, and B, one of the vibration settings on this is fucking amazing. Yeah, that's good. And then I have the Satisfyer Pro 3, which is, it's like a clit vacuum. I'm gonna leave links to all the vibrators I just referenced down below. You're welcome. They have their whole full fucking site full of sex toys, and it's also a porn site. You grow up watching shit on Pornhub to then go on a site like Bellesa, where the porn is like so nice to women. It's fun to watch. It is. It's fucking amazing because it's hot and we don't have to fucking degrade women in the process. Isn't that kind of mind-blowing? Oh my God. You definitely don't need vibrators to achieve an amazing orgasm. I think they just sort of help make it happen quicker. Having my own set of sex toys was really important for me. Taking control of what you like and what feels good for you instead of waiting for somebody else to tell you what you're gonna like or what you should do. Like, I'm gonna tell you what the fuck we're doing, bitch. Throughout college, I just sort of, you know, I evolved into this aggressively sexually open beast. Here I am, baby, on your screen for you to enjoy forever. So a question I get asked all the time, which is something I briefly mentioned earlier, is just people asking how I became this comfortable in my sexuality and in my body as a whole. And I sort of covered it a little bit in my why I stopped wearing bras video because it's complicated. I can't give you an easy answer. I can't be like, oh, this is how I did it. This is how I started feeling comfortable with myself sexually. This is how I started accepting my body. This is how the two sort of collided with each other. There's no easy answer to this. There's your external space and your internal space. And your external space is influenced by all the people around you, your friends, your family, whatever. And like I said earlier, I've had a fantastic external space for most of my life. I have parents who raised me to be really open and accepting of everyone, including myself. I have a bunch of friends that are open to talk about these sorts of things. And there's the secondary part of your internal environment, how you talk to yourself about these things, how you create space within your own mind to think about yourself and how, you know, how are you going to accept yourself sexually if you're not giving yourself the space to explore that and feel free and being kind to yourself in the process. How you treat yourself when you are completely alone matters. It matters so fucking much. That's why I'm so hyped up about masturbation and female sexuality, because embracing mine and learning about my own really helped me a lot to accept my own body. Like I've said in past videos, I'm someone who struggled so much with my body growing up, and literally being given the gift of exploring this part of myself has done so fucking much for my self-esteem. I used to dance a lot when I was younger, and so much of the old choreography I used to come up with was sexual. And it's because that's what made me feel good about my body. Me being sexual has nothing to do with other people. It's an energy about myself. It's something that I am, you know, it's who I am when I am completely alone. And I'm not saying what works for me is gonna work for you, but I do think that openness in general is a gateway to acceptance and feeling better about yourself. It's healthy to explore these topics, and it's important that we approach them from a perspective of openness and acceptance rather than, you know, being closed off and thinking, oh, this is too taboo, it's too inappropriate, we can't talk about this here. We can talk about this. And I think we should talk about it more. So I have a little gift for you guys. I made a masturbation playlist for all of you. And it's not Gotta Be You by One Direction on repeat for 3 hours. However, if it was, I would still use it for that purpose. They're just a plethora of songs curated by me for you that really get you in the mood. If this isn't something that you do a lot and you're trying to, you know, explore yourself, and if you're someone who's been masturbating for years since boobs.com was all the rage, then this is just a gift from me to you just cause I love you so fucking much, dude. If you guys have any questions about this topic, leave them below. I'm gonna do a Q&A at some point in the next couple weeks about this kind of topic, and I'd love to sort of shed any light on things that you guys might be wondering. I hope that now that we've reached the end of this video, you feel a little bit more comfortable thinking about these things, considering them, and that you know that you can come here, watch this content, and not feel shame. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to give this video a like and a comment if you liked it. Subscribe if you haven't already. I am at Maddie Dragsbaek on all of my social media, Instagram, Twitter. Give me a follow. I be living large over there. Thank you guys so much. I hope you're staying safe out there, and I will see you in the next video. Bye. You got